Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome. Okay, so we do have this up and ready. Right now, as far as I know, I'm going to put this in the background, you guys, because there's some things that happened yesterday. A surprise hearing. Nobody was made aware of it. It wasn't in the record. So there was a surprise hearing yesterday. The defense is fighting to have the IGG unsealed. And they fought that yesterday, as well as the media had their lawyer there, and they wanted things unsealed, and they wanted to be able to sit in on all of today's hearing. I'm going to be bringing up, let me just get this off the screen. I am going to keep it up in the background, you guys. Let me just replace this. Whoops. Okay, hang on. Let me just replace this. Stop sharing that. I'm going to keep it up in the background with the volume all the way up, so we will hear when they do start. It is supposed to start at 11 a.m., but I'm going to show you why it's not starting right at 11. Okay, so let me show you. This. Let me make it full screen. Full screen. There we go. Okay, so this I just found in the record this morning. We're going to go through it, Carol. Okay, so this came out, and then these other things came out, okay? So the order governing the proceedings for January 23rd and 24th, which is today and tomorrow, the hearing set for January 23rd and 24th in this matter will proceed as follows. Starting at 9 a.m., that's Idaho time, that's 11 a.m. Eastern. The court will take up testimony related to the defendant's motion to suppress genetic information IgG and the defendant's motion for a Franks hearing insofar as it regards to the IgG. So on one hand, they're saying they want to suppress the IgG information, but now they're saying they want it unsealed. It's craziness, okay? So these were motions. This date was set for these motions back a couple months ago, okay? So just a couple months ago, the defense wanted all this stuff still sealed and blah, 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 blah. Now they've got a new motion that they want everything unsealed. I'm going to show you that. And now everybody's saying, like, what the hell are you guys doing? Well, the judge called them out yesterday in this hearing that we were not made aware was going to happen until it happened, right? Now, I did watch it because it was partially the way through when I got the notification. But we will go over everything that happened there. Let me get this off the screen there. So this was put out before yesterday's hearing, okay? As indicated, the court's oral ruling, this portion of the hearing will be closed and sealed. So they are still going to be arguing and fighting, I guess, about this. Following the close of this evidence, the court will take up the following matters, which will be live streamed on a feed available to the public, subject to the court's determination to close any portion of that hearing. So today, even though we get to see it when they come online, I do have it running on my other screen. And as soon as they come online, I will put it up for you guys to see and hear. But they're going to be stopping it. They're going to be cutting out, and they're going to be cutting the feed and then bringing it back, and cutting the feed and bringing it back throughout the whole hearing today and tomorrow, because the court is saying that there are still going to be parts of that that are under seal, so they can't give it to us. So when those parts are going to be talked about, they're going to cut the cameras. So don't think that it's me doing it, you guys, with today's hearing. This is going to be the court doing it. Okay? So they're going to cut turning off the live stream feed as necessary, testimony related to the defendant's remaining motions to suppress, arguments on the defendant's motion to suppress, and arguments on the defendant's motion to compel. This was signed on the 21st. Okay? So yesterday, was this filed? This was filed on the 21st. Okay, so the state is objecting. Okay, no way, blah, 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 blah. We don't want this stuff out in the open. The defense now is fighting to have it out in the open, and the judge called them out yesterday. We'll get to that as soon as we read through this quickly, because I don't know when the cameras are going to come on in the courtroom. So I'm listening for it, you guys. They're kind of like flip-flopping fish as it suits their purpose. So the judge finally called them out. It's like, look it, you stated right at the beginning, you wanted this all under seal. The prosecution agreed. Everything is now under seal regarding the IGG. Now, all of a sudden, since you're not getting your way, basically is what he said. Now, all of a sudden, you want this all out in the open. Now you're saying that it's against Bryan Kohberger's right to have all this stuff sealed. Like, make up your mind. And it seems to me, as soon as Ann Taylor isn't getting what she wants, or by sealing this stuff, she's seeing it's actually hurting her client, now you want it unsealed, but you fought all along to have this stuff sealed. So the judge is having no part of it. So this is what she filed. Comes now Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorneys of record, and the following reply to the state's objection to Bryan Kohberger's motion to unseal the IGG suppression briefing and hearing. Mr. Kohberger stipulated to a non-dissemination order to avoid over 100 law enforcement personnel from speaking publicly about the case before the trial. That stipulation was in no way intended to circumvent his right to have matters properly before the court heard openly in public. What? You guys are the ones that wanted all this sealed. Oh, it's going to go against my client because this will be tried in the public, in the form of public opinion, like on YouTube and such, right? We don't want them being able to do this. We are entitled to a fair trial. And by putting the information out there, it's going to prejudice my client. Blah, blah. They put up one hell of a fight. And now they're saying the exact opposite when they see that it didn't go in their favor as they thought that it would. Okay, to have matters properly before the court, heard openly in public, with a judge presiding over an adversarial hearing. The significant downside to having stipulated to the non-dissemination order is that Mr. Kohberger cannot correct the many false reports in the media, which have resulted in an overwhelming public sentiment of his guilt. You wanted this. You fought for everything to be sealed. And now you're seeing it backfired. So now you want to open everything back up, including the IGG. It's no surprise that the state wants no part in stopping that narrative and hence objects to an open suppression hearing where legitimate legal issues will be heard. Mr. Kohberger does not believe the non-dissemination order is the same as closing proceedings that are public. The party seeking to close the suppression hearing over the objection of the accused must advance an overriding interest that is likely to be prejudiced. The closure must be no broader than necessary to protect that interest. The trial court must consider a reasonable alternative to closing the hearing. We all asked for that, and you said no. Now she is saying the exact same thing that we have all been saying all along. She realized very quickly that this backfired. Everything she intended this to be backfired. Just like this, the trial court must consider a reasonable alternative to closing the hearings. We asked for that. You said absolutely not. We want it closed. We want it secret. It must make a finding adequate to support the closure. And they cite a case, Waller versus Georgia, from 1984. The interests of the states asserts our influence on the potential jury pool and possible inadmissible evidence being discussed in open court. This is odd because such matters are routinely oh my God, you guys, I have got severe ear infections and it's affecting my jaw and everything. It's so sore. I don't know. Get it together, Willow. Okay, anyway, discussed in open court, and much of what may eventually turn out to be executable as evidence in this matter was released to the public with no concern for Mr. Kohberger's rights by the state. Unsealing the pleadings and hearing post-jury trial does not present the court with a reasonable alternative to opening the suppression hearing. It is no alternative since the recommended remedy is post-trial and his right to a public trial is now. So now she wants everything public. Additionally, since all orders sealing matters in this case are temporary, offering to unseal post-trial is not an alternative. Get it together, Willow. It's my jaw. I can't even speak right. This is going to be a day. The state's concern about potential juror influence is misplaced. The only influence that there may be on potential jurors is their learning that there is more than the current guilt narrative about this case. It is no secret that a public hearing will allow the opportunity for the adversarial process to lend itself to a fuller picture, one that is more than the current guilt narrative. Well, you wanted it, you got it. Mr. Kohberger's Sixth Amendment right to a fair and public trial does not begin with jury selection. Do you guys follow what she's doing here? Good morning, Courtney. Good morning, everybody. It began the day he was arrested. Now 2 years into the state having control over the narrative, though its extensive probable cause statement, a suppression hearing is exactly the proceeding where his right to have motions heard publicly matters. Moreover, he holds the right to a presumptively open hearing. As to the state's point about the IGG being inadmissible evidence, Mr. Kohberger has the right to confront the evidence against him at trial, especially that which identifies him. Well, the thing is, they're not going to have to confront it at trial because the prosecution has already stated they will not be using anything IGG in the proceedings. Previously, the state has characterized IGG information in this case as a lead. And I do have something I want to go over, you guys, but I don't think we're going to have time today. It goes into exactly how this came about. And it was a lead. They were already looking at Kohberger before the IGG information came to their plate. The information that they were already looking at, I will show it to you guys in a later video, or maybe even at the end of this, if we have time. But what happened was they were already looking into Kohberger because of the security officer at Washington State University said, look it, we have this guy with the exact car you're looking for, okay? And it has out-of-state license plates, and it's registered to Bryan Kohberger. They looked at their video surveillance and seen him leaving the night of the offense. And they seen what time he returned the night of the offense. So they had already started looking into Kohberger, okay, with that information from the security guy at Washington State University. Nobody knew still, like, okay, is he connected? All they did was call in a tip saying, look at, you guys this is after the broadcast went out that we're looking for this white Hyundai Elantra. So the Washington State security guy went through his roster of people that are supposed to be on the property or that live there, and he found a white Hyundai Elantra. It was registered to Bryan Kohberger. He checked the videos, and this is what they came out with. And he gave that tip to the police. That's when the police started looking into Bryan Kohberger. That was before the IGG information came back to them. So the IGG was just another tip to them, like, look at that, the DNA on this sheath. We've got a family tree that shows Kohberger. And they went, what? Kohberger? Okay, so then that's when they started getting their warrants to search his phone and like to see, not to search his phone, but for the towers to see if his phone pinged in that area. So that's how it all started. Like I said, I do have the information that states all that. And like I said, we will go over it if I have time. So anyway, the state does not get to hide behind an informant to prove identity. Whether the state wants to describe the IGG identification as a lead, a tip, or an informant, such is testimonial in nature to prove identity. The purpose of the IGG was to investigate a criminal case. Now, you guys, this is not new. The way Ann Taylor's bringing this out, I see why she's doing it, and I get it. She has to do everything in her power. But I mean, this has already been fought about, right? But like I said, I don't want to, I want to show you both sides of the coin. I get what she's trying to do. They've got nothing else. They don't have a strong defense. And that is why she's doing all this stuff. She's trying everything in her power with bringing up old laws and challenging the grand jury findings. And she's doing it all because she's grasping. Now, to go to the extent she has, I think there was a lot of time wasted there that could have been, used on fighting the information that they have, instead of just trying to bring up old laws. But I think she didn't have anything else, you guys. So I get it. I get what she's doing. It's her job to defend him to the best of her ability. And if doing all this is, what she's got to do, she's going to do it, right? Including burying everybody in paperwork and motions. It irritates me to no end, but I get it. She's doing everything she can. But when I start seeing stuff like this, is you fought to have everything sealed, and now you're trying to make it seem like, once again, the prosecution is doing something wrong when they just agreed with what you wanted. And here we are. Okay, so the purpose of the IGG was to investigate a criminal case. What is more, without IGG, this case would never have been brought against Mr. Kohberger. That's not true. That's not true. Because he was already on their radar. The Sixth Amendment's oh my gosh, we'll get it together. Confrontation clause provides that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused should enjoy the right to be confronted with the witnesses against him. And then they cite another one with Crawford versus Washington. Where testimonial statements are at issue, the only indictum of reliability sufficient to satisfy constitutional demands is one, the Constitution actually prescribes confrontation. And when addressing the confrontation clause, Crawford has been applied to state prosecutions in Idaho. Conclusion, for the reasons addressed above, oh my gosh, Mr. Kohberger respectfully requests this court grant his motion to unseal the IGG suppression briefing and hearing, as the state has not met its burden that it has an overriding interest that will be prejudiced. These are Mr. Kohberger's rights, and he asserts them. So, the prosecution said, no, we're not doing that. We're not agreeing to it, etc., because, you know, this is what you guys wanted, right? So here's what the judge gave. And then I think he states in here about yesterday's hearing. Okay, because this was filed, look at, on the 22nd. Right up here. At 4:30 in the afternoon after that hearing. That was held, surprisingly, yesterday. Let me just... No. Okay, so it's still, we're still cut from the live so far, you guys. Okay, before the court, this was after yesterday's hearing. Now, in yesterday's hearing, I don't know if I can play it. My computer's acting funny, but there was a hearing yesterday, and he called out the defense, and he calls them out here too. And basically, he says to the court, to the defense, he says, I know what you're trying to do, and it's not flying in this court. So let's see what he says here after the hearing yesterday. Now, don't forget, the media lawyer is the one who had called for a hearing, okay? Okay. Hello, Marie. Hope everything is good there. I seen that the Hughes fire now broke out in California, so I've been following that. Okay, so after the hearing yesterday, the surprise hearing that nobody knew about until it actually happened, before the court is the defendant's motion to unseal the IGG suppression briefing, which they talked about yesterday in open court, and hearing, January 13, 2025. A hearing on the motion was held on January 21st, during which the court denied the motion from the bench. This order memorializes that ruling, okay? So they tried to fight it on the 21st. That was the one we weren't allowed to hear, right? And then they fought it again yesterday. As defendant has observed, this case has garnered intense, if not overwhelming, national and international attention in the media. Absolutely, because I'm in Canada, and I'm following this like I followed my little toddler around when they were young. This has led to the sealing of several filings in this case pursuant to ICR 32, which contemplates sealing information temporarily when necessary to preserve the right to a fair trial. ICAR 32I, 3A, and 6. Further, Judge John Judge, then presiding, entered a comprehensive non-dissemination order designed to prevent publicity about evidence that may or may not be ultimately admitted at trial from tainting a prospective jury pool. Among the sealed filings in the briefing on the defendant's motion to suppress, read the IGG, on November 14th, 2024, which the parties stipulated to filing under seal. So here we go. She filed another stipulation just a couple months ago, 2 months ago in November. Yes, we want this all sealed, blah, 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 blah. But now she's complaining that it's sealed and she wants everything unsealed. Defendant seeks to unseal this briefing as well as the hearing on the suppression motion. Okay? And we can see here, there's this number 1 right here. Let's see what the number 1 says. 1, the briefing includes the defendant's memorandum in support of the motion filed contemporaneously within the state's objection to the defense motion to suppress the IGG on December 6th, 2024, and defendant's reply to state's objection to the defense's motion to suppress and memorandum in support, read IGG, December 20th. So, a month ago. Defendant seeks to unseal this briefing as well as the hearing on the suppression motion. He points out that the public has long been aware of the law enforcement used IGG procedures in investigating this case. Number 2, IGG was raised in an issue, and it just goes to say every time that they raised it and they wanted it over and over and over and over again under seal. Procedures investigating this case. However, because the details of the IGG investigation have been withheld from the public, defendant contends there is significant and prejudicial information circulating in the public's eye about his guilt. Unsealing, he argues, and when they say he, they're talking about Bryan Kohberger, will correct such information, protect his Sixth Amendment right to a public trial, and preserve the public's First Amendment right to know what's going on in its courts. Do you see this? They want it unsealed because she wants to blurt out and put in the media, that's not true, and this isn't true, and that isn't true. Wait a minute. You wanted the non-dissemination order. You got it. And now that it's not going in your favor and it's backfired, now you want it unsealed. Right? And he says right here, he argues, he wants right here, you guys. Can you guys see my, oh, you can't. Hang on a sec. Let me share this differently so you guys can see my share. Okay, can you guys, you can't see, can you see my, you can't see my point? Oh, yes, you can. Oh, you can over here, but as soon as I go to the page, you can't. Anyway, right here, if you can see my pointer, unsealing, he argues, will correct such misinformation. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to correct misinformation circulating out in the public. Okay? And he wants his Sixth Amendment right to a public trial. and he wants to preserve the public's First Amendment right. But you didn't want that from the very beginning. You only want it now because you're finding that sealing everything has backfired. Right? The state responds that it has no objections to unsealing the IGG evidence after trial, but doing so prior to trial poses a significant risk of tainting the jury pool. The court agrees. So be careful what you wish for, Anne, because you wanted everything sealed to pretend. My screen just went black. But now that you've got that and you're seeing it's not going in your favor, now you want it all unsealed. The First Amendment and Sixth Amendment guarantee the right to an open public trial. And he's also talking about Waller versus Georgia here that the defense brought up. These rights benefit the accused to the extent the presence of interested spectators may keep his triers keenly alive to a sense of their responsibility and to the importance of their functions. Also in Waller versus Georgia, internal quotation omitted. Okay. It also ensures that judge and prosecutor carry of their duties responsibility and encourages witnesses to come forward and discourages perjury. This right extends to pretrial suppression hearings as well. Nevertheless, so did somebody say something in them hearings that is perjury? The right extends to pretrial suppression hearings as well. It also ensures that judge and prosecutor carry of their duties responsibly and encourages witnesses to come forward and discourages perjury. That's interesting. I got to think about that for a bit. So are they not wanting this shown to the public because there's parts in there that maybe have changed and the defense is screaming perjury. I don't know. I have to think about that for a bit. Nevertheless, the right to a public trial may yield to an overriding interest based on findings that closure is essential to preserve higher values and is narrowly tailored to serve that interest. Hello, Mary Adams, Tricia James, Carol, Marie, Shy's in the house, Nana's in the house, Des is in the house, Kate Bell's in the house, Courtney Anchor's in the house. I'm just scrolling back. Kate Bell. On the Trail, Kim is in the house. Christina S. is in the house. So hello to everybody. I'm sorry if I've missed you. I'm trying to get through this before they actually start. Okay. An overriding interest based on findings that closure is essential to preserve higher values and is narrowly tailored to serve that interest. Waller sets the standards governing courtroom closures. To overcome the presumption of openness, 1, the party seeking to close the hearing advances an overriding interest that is likely to be prejudiced. 2, the closure is no broader than necessary to protect that interest. 3, the court considers alternatives to closing the proceeding that would still protect the interest. And 4, the court makes findings adequate to support the closure. As the state points out, there is no dispute that this is a high-profile case, particularly in Idaho. It was transferred to Ada County from Latah County on defendant's motion to change venue. Defendant argued in the motion that the small size of the jury veneer and the extensive inflammatory media coverage prevented him from receiving a fair trial in Latah County. While Ada County has a larger jury pool to pull from than Latah County, the state is concerned that the risk of exposing that jury pool to evidence, particularly evidence that may not be deemed admissible at trial, remains significant. So even though we've got a huge jury pool here, we're still honoring why you wanted the non-dissemination order to begin with, because you don't want to taint the jury pool. But now you want it open. The court agrees. The United States, and so the court agrees with the prosecution here. No, they wanted this, they got it, we're keeping it that way. The United States Supreme Court, hence why this is happening today. We do have the court feed up. Right now, it's a closed hearing that's going on regarding some of this IGG shit that is under seal. So once open court starts, we will be jumping over to it. I've got the volume on it up high, so I will hear as soon as the court opens it to us. And we may be closed off a couple times during this hearing today. The judge has stated that if there's issues that are going to be talked about that are under seal, he's going to cut the feed and then he'll bring it back when they're done discussing that. While Ada County has a large jury pool to pull from than Latah County, the state is concerned that risk of exposing that jury pool to evidence, poodle, I got little poodles on my mind, to evidence, particularly evidence that may not be deemed admissible at trial, remains significant. The court agrees. The United States Supreme Court has recognized that publicity concerning pretrial suppression hearings poses special risks of unfairness because it could inform potential jurors of inculpatory information wholly inadmissible at the actual trial. Given the intense media scrutiny generated by this case, particularly in Idaho, the potential that IGG evidence will not be admitted at trial, and the fact that most of the evidence in this case is still under seal, the court is concerned that releasing the IGG evidence by making the briefing and testimony portion of the suppression hearing public poses too great of a risk in tainting an already relatively limited jury pool. Such protection ensures the benefit of the state and the defendant equally. Further, having considered alternatives, the court finds that keeping the IGG briefing and testimony temporarily sealed until after trial, at the latest, is no broader than necessary to protect the integrity of the trial and the jury pool. It is the only way to allow the court to examine the admissibility of the IGG evidence without exposing that evidence to the public and without prejudicing potential jurors and, in turn, the right to a fair trial. The parties' legal arguments on the IGG evidence will remain public. This approach, consistent with both Waller and ICAR 32I, 3A, and 6, will not contravene defendant's Sixth Amendment rights. Consecutively, defendant's motion to unseal is denied. So he denied it. Okay. So let's see, what is this? Okay, so this is, again, for today's hearing. Let me see if there's anything else here, you guys. What's this? Yeah, they've sealed the defendant's witness list and supplemental. What's this? That's what we just read. What's this one? Okay, so this is the other one. Let me share this one with you. Okay, so here's the other one. Now the judge has already made another ruling regarding this, an updated ruling, an updated one. So come now, the state of Idaho, by and through Laytop prosecuting attorney who brought me to court pursuant to Idaho Rule 32. Okay. Disclosure for hearing on January 23rd, 2025. So they want this order sealing the state's disclosure for the hearing on January 23rd. Interfere with enforcement proceedings, deprive a person's right of a fair trial or impartial adjudication, constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. And we do know, you guys, that there's also a subpoena that was issued for today. So disclosing the identity of a confidential source, that's what I think this is. Disclose investigative techniques and procedures. So these two here are why I do believe that part of today's hearing is sealed. That's the part that's going on right now as we speak. And that has to do with also the subpoena. Let me see. Let me get that subpoena. Okay, here's that subpoena. Okay, so here's that subpoena that we looked at already, right? And everything is left blank. Okay, to who this was served on is left blank. So that's what I think that this is right now that they are talking about in this document. Okay, so that's what I think that they are talking about in this document. Disclosing the identity of a confidential source and or disclosing investigative techniques and procedures and invasion of personal privacy. That's why they blocked out that subpoena. They said, Carol, they subpoenaed a witness today for the hearing that is going on, part of the hearing that's going on right now that is still sealed from us. Okay. We can't see what's going on in court right now because it's being blocked out, right? We can't see it yet. It's still saying this portion of the hearing is closed. Like I said, I've got the volume right up on it. I'm going to go and put that up on the screen in a moment. But right now, what I'm showing is they called in a witness for a reason why they want this IGG unsealed. And that witness was subpoenaed, and I just showed the subpoena. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why they want this sealed today, is because they don't want that person's name known. That's why the name wasn't even on the subpoena. They blanked it out. The underside seeks this protection. See, the protection, pending a hearing on the matter. So the state prays that the court seal from the public disclosure the date disclosure for the hearing, which is going to say who this person is. Okay. Okay, so let me bring this up. Okay, wait, hang on a sec, you guys. I don't think I put the hang on a sec. I'm going to put it back. Also share audio, yes. This is a little different than what I'm used to using, you guys. So that's why I'm having a little bit of a hard time with some of this, because I'm using Restream now instead of StreamYards. So it's a whole new system to get used to. So yeah, so what we're seeing, you guys, is okay, why is this doing this? Okay. Ann Taylor is now trying to fight to have everything about the IGG out in the public. And from what I'm seeing of it is she knows it's backfired. You know what I mean? It's backfired. Charissa says, funny, not really. How many? Let's put this up. Funny, not really. How many rights these monsters have after they take their rights away from their victims? Yeah. It was just the same as I was watching something on the Steven Stearns thing, and how he's complaining about his sleeping conditions, that his mattress isn't thick enough and his pillow's not good enough. And, now he was too cold, so they gave him a blanket, and now he's too hot, so now he's been transferred to the medical wing and stuff like that, right? So it's like, oh, I see something over there. But like, who cares? Okay, let me take this off, you guys, until it actually starts, because it's slowing down my connection here. So while we do that, let me go and try and find that article I was telling you about, what happened with the IGG. Whoops, dang it. Okay, hang on. Okay. I do got it right here. Come on. Okay, I want to make sure that I still got the volume and everything up on this. So when it does come online, you guys, I will be able to pop over and get it on screen for you right away. Okay, so let me show you this. Take this off. How police actually cracked the Idaho killings case. Okay, so it just, like, parts of this, it just says what happened. We know what happened. Early on in the investigation, the Moscow Police Department became interested in a white Hyundai Elantra that surveillance footage had captured near the house that morning. Police compiled a list of white Hyundai Elantras spanning from 2011 to 2016 that were registered at local universities, and it instructed officers to still search for more. An affidavit released last week revealed that on November 29th, just 2 weeks after the crime, these techniques succeeded in identifying a 2015 Elantra registered to Bryan Kohberger. Okay? Right here it says it. Okay? So they had asked right here. Police compiled a list that were listed at local universities and instructed officers to search for still more. An affidavit released last week, and this was released, I don't know when this was released, January 10th. Okay. An affidavit released last week revealed that on November 29th, just 2 weeks after the crime, these techniques succeeded in identifying a 2015 Elantra registered to Bryan Kohberger. So do you remember when I said to you guys that when they put out a car of interest, that the university, the Washington State University, called the tip line and said, hey, look it. We have an Elantra here registered to Bryan Kohberger. That's when they were first put on to Bryan Kohberger. This was before the IGG. Okay. Let's continue. And yet it would be another month before police arrested Kohberger and charged him with the murders. All the while, investigators would keep pleading for more tips about Elantras. That's because it was not Kohberger's Elantra that had elevated him to priority person of interest. Rather, according to law enforcement source familiar with the investigation with whom I spoke, a key reason police focused then on Kohberger as a likely suspect has to do with something that it's never mentioned in the 18-page affidavit, the IGG. It was only after investigators utilized a technique reliant on IGG database to determine who left the DNA on a tan leather knife sheath that police requested a search warrant for Kohberger's phone. Okay, so he was already on their radar, and then they really dug into him when the IGG came back. Hey, you know, this is the family tree of the person who left this DNA on the knife sheath. Now, we're still not sure exactly what kind of DNA was left there. Was it his blood? Was it skin cells? Was it a fingerprint? We don't know. Okay. A lot of people are saying touch DNA. I don't know. We don't know yet. Okay. So when they did run this, because when they run it through their database, okay, he didn't have a criminal record. So that's when they ran it through the IGG. Now, this isn't the first, and it's not going to be the last that the FBI uses this technique. Okay. So then the FBI sent that tip to the local police investigating it, saying, hey, look it, here's a tip. That DNA comes back to this kind of family tree, and they found that Kohberger was in that. Okay. It was only after investigators utilized a technique relying on IGG databases to determine who's left the DNA on the sheath that police requested a search warrant for Kohberger's phone records. Okay, so they already had Kohberger in their sights because of the Elantra and the security guy calling in, hey, look, we got a Bryan Kohberger here. Now they had reason to search his phone. So that's what they did. They got his phone records. Up until that point in late December, he hadn't stood out among all the other Elantras owned, the source said, something that is reinforced by close, informed reading of the affidavit. The precise way the IGG helped investigators zero in on Kohberger hasn't been previously reported. This is one of the most high-profile cases in which his relatively new, ethically contentious method has been used so soon after a crime has been committed, and it will likely influence how law enforcement approaches it going forward. Though multiple news outlets, including CNN and ABC, reported that for IGG helped with the case, none has explained how it was used or why it did not appear in the affidavit. And that and why and how and why matters. For one thing, it shows that a method known mostly for solving cold cases can apply to ones that are still hot. That may increase demand for emerging a field that was already experiencing a boom. The use of IgG also underlines that the current storyline about how police identify their suspect, which some are suggesting is a model, is a missing pivotal details. According to numerous genetic genealogists, the case embodies an emergency trend of leaving out any mention of forensic genealogy from court documents and press conferences. The Idaho's affidavit thoughtful admission of any reference to the IgG, as forensic DNA analysis Tiffany Roy put it, has reignited a heated debate among investigative genealogists, lawyers, detectives, and other forensic experts about the wisdom of this strategy. So this is going into a lot of information, okay? The people involved in Kohberger's arrest won't be weighing in anytime soon, okay? Because the FBI doesn't have to answer to anybody if they don't want to. If they choose not to, they don't have to. They don't have to say how they got this, why they got this, anything, okay? On January 3rd, shortly after the Moscow police announced the arrest, a judge in Idaho issued a gag order prohibiting anyone involved in the case from speaking out about it in order to encourage a fair trial. This order also applied to Kohberger's defense team, which did not respond to a request for comment. Kohberger is expected to appear in court again on Thursday, today. Okay, so let's just skip a lot of this. Lindy Elantras, white is among the most common, and so it's not surprising within 24 hours of requesting tips about a white Hyundai Elantra on its Facebook page on December 7th. The Moscow Police Department had received so many that it had to devise a new system for accepting them. By December 27th, the agency had a list of 22,000. One of the ways investigators whittled down the vehicle owners was by looking for associated mobile phones that pinged cell towers near the crime scene. So this is how they pinged them, okay? This is important. One of the ways investigators whittled down the vehicles, because they had a list of 22,000 of them, vehicles owners, was by looking for associated mobile phones that pinged cell towers near the crime scene around the time of the red drum. Kohberger failed to stand out in that way at that time, right? A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the 8458 phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 and 5. Why? Because he turned it off, right? What this likely meant was that there was no immediate reason to prioritize Kohberger over other Elantra owners. On December 23, 3 weeks after Kohberger's Elantra was first made the list, Payne applied for a search warrant for records of Kohberger's phone activity between November 12th and 14th. The results helped convince Payne that Kohberger was the Elantra owner he was looking for after all. The route of travel on the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 and 8:44 and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple red drums that occurred at the King Road residence. So the question is, what happened shortly before Christmas that refocused Payne's attention on this particular Elantra owner? The answer, according to the sources familiar with the investigation, is partly that the officer got back the results from the IgG team. So he was already on their radar, but then when the IgG came in and they said, hey, Kohberger's, like your suspect is related to somebody in here, they then zeroed in on him. As court documents state, during the exploration of the house, Payne found a leather knife sheath stamped with Marine Corps Eagle, a single source of male DNA. They don't say what kind. A single source of male DNA on its button snap. Had their suspect been arrested or convicted of a felony in one of the states that are aggressive about collecting DNA, officials might have found him by searching the criminal database. But Kohberger's most notable previous interaction with police occurred this past fall when he applied for an internship to work with the Pullman Police Department. And so in the end, investigators would turn to an alternative way of identifying DNA, which rose to prominence following the 2018 arrest of Jeffrey D'Angelo, a former police officer in what's widely referred to as the Golden State Killer case. So the use of IgG has gone back as far as 2018 from what we see here. After decades of dead ends, investigators helped triangulate the identity of the mystery man who terrorized California in the 70s and 80s, committing at least 13 red drums and many more by using partial genetic matches to relatives in the IgG database and the building of an enormous family tree. Since then, so since 2018, law enforcement agencies across the country have used the technique to identify suspects and victims in hundreds of cases. Most of these cases went cold decades ago, but regardless of how long a lab has been storing the DNA, a first step involves processing the DNA in a way that enables an upload to the IgG database. This is something police labs can do because IgG genealogists rely on a different, essentially far more informative type of DNA analyst, said Samantha Blatt, a biological anthropologist at Idaho State University who has worked on forensic genealogy cases in Idaho. Idaho State Police has a contract with Othram. Boom, boom, boom. Othram is a forensic genealogy company to conduct genealogy testing according to July 2021 memo. Othram and Idaho State Police Forensic Services declined to comment. So they have them on standby, like push the button. We got this DNA. They're not in the criminal database. Help us out. So they have a contract with Othram. Okay. Once the DNA profile is ready, it gets uploaded to GED match or family tree DNA. These are the only two that FBI and Othram uses. And we're going to find out why, if not both. These are two primary genealogy sites that permit some types of law enforcement searches. So if you submit, you know, when you want to find out about your history and everything else, if you submit your DNA to find family members to GED match or family tree DNA, you are automatically on the list for like their site are the ones that allow law enforcement to use their databases. You can't say, no, I don't want mine used in these two sites. They automatically share them with law enforcement. These two sites, GED match and family tree DNA. The FBI played a role in the forensic genealogy work in the Idaho case, according to the source familiar with the investigation, something several genealogists confirmed would be likely to happen in such a high-profile investigation. The FBI declined to comment, and Anthony Dallinger, spokesperson for the Moscow Police Department, wrote, due to the gag order issued by the judge, he can't discuss anything. Regardless of who's conducting the investigation, genealogists look for partial matches, hoping to find relatives within the third cousin range. They then begin the process of building an enormous family tree using a vast array of public records and more traditional detective work to create a short list of people within that tree who could possibly be the suspect. The fact that Kohberger lived 10 miles from the crime scene would have helped him stand out. So too would the fact that he owned the white Elantra. Still, even after pulling the phone records, the team had no way to be certain Kohberger's DNA would match the knife sheath DNA. A genetic genealogy lead is just a hypothesis, after all. A final step typically involves conducting surveillance on the suspect and then collecting something they've disregarded, such as a cigarette butt or a soda can, and then extracting DNA from it and comparing it with the crime scene DNA. So what they did was they got this tip. You got to look at this guy. And what they did is they tailed him. They watched him and tried to get something that he may have tossed out. Okay. By this time, though, he's back in Pennsylvania, right? So what did they do? They did exactly that. They sat outside the parents' place. Okay. So that's what they were looking to collect, something that he had thrown away so they could compare it to the DNA that they collected from the knife sheath. On December 27, agents collected trash from outside the Pennsylvania home where Kohberger was visiting his parents, according to the affidavit. The Idaho State Lab reported that there was an extremely high probability it contained DNA belonging to the suspect's father. On December 30th, agents arrested Kohberger. Okay? So whatever they got out of the trash, and don't forget, Bryan had gloves on. He was putting his personal trash, anything he touched, in separate bags and tossing it in the neighbor's garbage, right? So the DNA that they did get from a male from that residence was the father, which in turn told them that the DNA that they had on the knife sheath was a male offspring of Christopher Kohberger, the father. Okay, so they arrested Bryan Kohberger. Once they arrested him, they took a buccal swab inside Bryan Kohberger's mouth, and guess what? 1,000,000,000% it matched Bryan Kohberger. Soon after Kohberger appeared in front of a judge in Idaho, the court released the affidavit. Some suggested the absence of any reference to the IGG meant that it had not been utilized after all. It was a tip. Hey, look at this guy. But there is another explanation. Forensic genealogy leaders at the FBI and beyond have directed police departments to omit all references to the technique. Numerous people involved in these investigations told me. The only reason it would show up on a probable cause document or search warrant these days is if a police department rejected their guidance. As to whether keeping it out of court documents is a problem, two primary camps have emerged over the past few days. The first camp says leaving it out is offensive. The technique relies on members of the public who've chosen to opt into genealogy databases to allow law enforcement to use their DNA profiles to help identify their relatives. Therefore, the public deserves to know when it is used. Contrary to what people may think, Ancestry and 23andMe doesn't easily allow. Okay, let's start again. Contrary to what many people think, Ancestry and 23andMe doesn't easily allow law enforcement searches. Okay? So they didn't get it from Ancestry and 23andMe. So GED match and family tree DNA are what we're talking about here. So those are the two sites that the police use, GED match and family tree DNA. With family tree DNA, you're opted in by default. Okay? With GED match, users have to click a box to say, I don't want my DNA used for any police things at all. Okay? So with family tree DNA, you're opted in by default. And GED match, it seems like you're opted in by default, but there is an option that you can click a box to say, I don't want my DNA used to help police search for anything. Because it's not in these court documents, it's difficult to know how many times it's been used or the kinds of cases in which law enforcement applies it. Why hide it? Asked Greg Hampikian. A biological professor at Boise State University, who also is the director of the Idaho Innocence Project. Having worked on 2 cases in Idaho in which the IGG helped clear 2 people who were wrongfully convicted of a red drum, he knows firsthand that the foundational science is solid and the technique is valuable. Okay, so to me, that's a double-edged sword. Tell me what you guys think. He uses it to clear people. He uses the IGD to clear people. Okay, Well, why can't law enforcement use IgG to nail people? You can't have it both ways. If you can use it to clear people, then you should be able to use it to say 100% they're the person that's guilty, right? But he's observed that the longer a novel forensic method stays hidden, the more room there is for errors in its application. Let's go get it tested in court, and let's all tell the public about it, he said. Roy, the forensic DNA analyst, made similar points. Paula says it's the opposite way. You're opted out unless you click the box to allow it in. No, from what I've read is you have to click the box to opt out. See here? With DNA family tree, you're opted in by default. So yeah, this could be debated, I guess, because I have heard in the other interviews with these people, with the people that work at GED Match, they said that there's a box there that you can check and say, I don't want my information used anywhere else except for myself to find my family and my family to find me. So that's what they said in an interview, that there's a box that people can check to say that they don't want their information shared with police, that they just want it for the purpose that it's intended, is to find family and family to find them. So, and here it says family tree DNA, you're opted in by default. So opted in means you're opted in to sharing your information with the police. Okay. Where was I now? Okay. Roy, a forensic DNA analyst, made similar post in LinkedIn post that sparked a fiery debate over the weekend. In a follow-up interview, Roy noted that when investigators get a DNA hit in CODIS, the FBI criminal database, they typically mention it in an affidavit. Getting a partial match in an IgG database would be similarly included, she said. Early on, prominent forensic genealogists and database managers allowed genetic profiles to be searched in ways that violated customer service agreements. Investigators also lied to relatives of people they found through the database. She believes that more scrutiny is needed to ensure police don't abuse their power, and she dismisses the argument that keeping the technique out of affidavits protects the privacy of the suspect's family members because police already have used this information. They're using privacy as a shield and a sword at the same time. Because up here, the Innocence Project uses IgG databases to clear people who are wrongfully convicted. So you can't allow people like that to use it if you're not going to also allow law enforcement to use it. It's either nobody else can use it for other sources, like finding people who are innocent and clearing their name, or finding suspects and arresting them. Like, it's either yes or no. You can't pick and choose, right? So either it's only used for what it is intended, and that's to find your family members, or family members to find you, and that's the end of the story. Innocence Project can't use it, police can't use it. Or if you're going to allow the Innocence Project to use it, you got to allow the police to use it. You can't have it both ways. You can't use it to exonerate somebody, but then not be able to use it to say this person is guilty, or that this is that person's DNA. Let me just refresh this, you guys, to make sure that they haven't started yet in court. No, this portion of the hearing is still closed. Okay. I do have it on my other screen, you guys, so I will see it when they open the court for us to see the proceedings today. Okay. They are using privacy as a shield and a sword, right? And that's what I just explained. The second camp says that these people need to chill out because an affidavit of probable cause is supposed to explain why police believe someone is their suspect, not how they arrived at that conclusion. You don't typically include anonymous tips or internet searches in the document. That's true. This isn't that different, they insist, given that you would never use a genetic genealogy lead to arrest someone, only to take the next step and collect DNA from them to compare with the crime scene. It's a lead, just like somebody calls in a tip. Hey, I seen him walking around that night. You better go and check him out. You know what I mean? It was a lead. They didn't say, here's your guy. They said, here's a tip. You should look in this direction. And since an investigative genetic genealogy, IgG, lead is not direct evidence, there is no reason for the jury to hear about the lead generated by IgG either, said David Kearney, the director of the IgG Genealogy Center at Ramapo College. Ramapo? I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Who is also part of a group that is developing standards for IgG genealogists. Several prominent genealogists told me they agree with him. Right? So there's arguments on both sides. Like it's a double-edged sword. You can't allow one legal engineer to use it to exonerate people, but then you can't let the police use it to find people. Right? One strange consequence of the current policy is that even Kohberger's relatives may never know that their DNA profiles contributed to his arrest. That's because most genealogists' approach is not to tell them. And if they are distant cousins, they may not recognize his name. Several genealogists, and that's why they're keeping it sealed, because they don't want to bring out all these people that may be related to him and then have the media and YouTubers and TikTokers and everybody else going and harassing them and whatnot. Several genealogists talked to made the case that people would rather not know they are related to a suspect who's this or this. They don't want to know. John Hogan, a death investigator and business owner in Lowndes County, Georgia, disagrees. Hogan learned that his DNA profile helped arrest a second cousin for a red drum in 2019 only after a reporter told him, if they took the time to use something that is part of me, I need to know that something that is part of me is used, he said in a phone interview. Whoops. All of these are sorts of issues Kohberger had planned to spend the next few years studying. Did you guys hear that? All of these are sorts of issues Kohberger had planned to spend the next few years studying. Washington State University even offers a course examining the implications of forensic genealogy. He was taking those courses in the next few years. It's worth remembering that a jury could find Kohberger to be innocent. Regardless, it's unlikely he'll enter a classroom anytime soon. Okay, so that's where I took that information from, you guys. And like I said, it is a double-edged sword, right? If the Innocent Project can use it, right, then the police should be able to use it. Okay, hang on a sec. Let me just move this. So if there's anything I need to pull up, I can. Okay. Okay, so here it is, you guys. They're still going through everything that we had talked about. Let me just pull this over here. We're still going through everything they talked about. They're still going through everything they talked about that we just talked about in the court documents. Okay, the box is probably really small. I bet. Paula said, it's the opposite way. You're opted out unless you click the box. That's not what it states. And they did interviews. I've got those too, but I can't pull up another video. I've got this one running in the background that you're seeing on screen. If I pull up another one, my system's going to crash. I got to update I was told, I had somebody look at my computer and I was told I have to update my graphics card. So I'm waiting to do that. Let's see this one. I think it should be auto catch all the, yep. Here it says wowzers. Sounds like you knew the rest. Yes. Okay, let's see here. Charisha Jane says, and regardless, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. In other words, shouldn't have unalived anyone if you wanted his freedom, right? He is still, at this point, presumed innocent until proven guilty. But, you know, I want to talk about a couple things. One is you generally don't go to, no, I shouldn't say it that way. How can I say this? Because I want to be respectful. What Ann Taylor is doing, I kind of agree with, and I kind of don't. I agree she has to do everything in her power to defend Bryan Kohberger. I'm just put my, to defend Bryan Kohberger. What I don't agree with is to the extent that she's going. Like 400 and some odd page motions and stuff like that. Yes. Write out, okay, I disagree with this, I disagree with this, I disagree. Get it all out there, right? Have your hearing on it. When it still doesn't go in your favor, she just doubles down. Like the IGG stuff has already been argued with a prior judge, but she doubles down and she keeps coming back to it. She wanted everything sealed. Now she doesn't. It's so much of a waste of time. You know what I mean? Hang on a sec, you guys. Give me a second. I feel like she could have done a lot of things that she did, but not to the extreme. You could have got every single point that you filed, every motion, wrapped up in a little bow. You know what I mean? And that's why the prosecution finally said, enough is enough. Like, this is a 400-page motion. There's a limit on pages. And a lot of people started, oh, look at Thompson crying because there's so many pages. It's the law. You can't expect one side to follow the law and the other side not. And why he finally said something is because there's motions upon motions upon motions, which are great motions for the defense, and she should have filed them, but not at 100 and some odd pages each motion. What that is, and I'm telling you from my experience, 30 years working in criminal law, you're burying the prosecution in paperwork on the hopes that they forget to give you something, and then you can get that thrown out because they forgot to give it to you because they're too busy going through all this stuff that you're burying them in paperwork. It's excessive. And the judge called them out yesterday. We can watch that at another time if you want, you guys. I would pull it up now and start watching it if we could, but it'll crash my system. I need to update my graphics card. But the reporter, the lawyer for the media, come out and said, Your Honor, this is what I think the defense was trying to say. They want to release the IGG because of this. Excuse me. And the judge let her say her spiel. She was basically sticking up for the defense, right? But she wanted this all unsealed anyway, this lawyer for the news outlets. And the judge turns around and he says something along the lines, I understand and I appreciate, you backing the defense, but I see beyond that and I see what the defense is trying to do. And he looked right at the screen because it was like a Zoom thing. He looked right at the screen and said, but I see between yesterday's hearing and this hearing here, I see what the defense is trying to do. You can't cry foul about something you fought tooth and nail to get. And now that it backfired and didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, now you want, okay, let's just unseal it. It didn't work out the way I thought. Now let's unseal it. Nope. Judge ain't doing it, and the judge ain't playing the game. Oh, my screen just went black again. Did my screen go black for you guys for a second? I'll still go with the duck theory. And Carol says, looks, walks, quack, it's a duck. BK said he'd never be found guilty. And that's why we all want to see his alibi, right? Well, show us your alibi. They have him on GPS, okay? When his phone came back on just south of Moscow, where the red drums happened. Okay, I got to get rid of this thing. It keeps falling on me. Give me a second, guys. I have my heating pad here because my back and neck is killing me. But it keeps falling. Okay. His phone goes off. He's leaving Pullman, Washington State University, and all these cameras along the way got him going towards Moscow. All of a sudden, just before Moscow, his phone dies, goes off, is put into airplane mode, whatever. Okay? And in the time that his phone is off, the red drums happened. Okay? Now, instead of going back, the quickest way back to his house, which would have taken him 10-15 minutes, he went south and continued going through Genesee and all that. It took him an hour. The route that he took home took him an hour to get back home. Okay? Now, what does the route show? The route shows that 28 minutes after the red drums, the white Elantra, well, at 4:20 something in the morning, that Hyundai is seen speeding away. It's followed by certain cameras to go south of Moscow, behind the 1122 King Road house, that road that goes behind there. The next time anything is heard of to do with Bryan Kohberger, the white Elantra, or the phone, comes on at Genesee, Idaho, which is just south. Now, it should, from leaving the 1122 King Road house, it takes, if you drive straight through, it takes about 10 minutes to get there. Okay? To Genesee. But he leaves and it's 40 minutes. So I believe that there's 10 minutes in there that he got rid of the evidence. Because it shouldn't have taken 28 minutes for him to get to Genesee, where his phone goes back on. And it doesn't matter anything else. It's the distance and the time that it takes to get to Genesee. It should have taken just over 10 minutes, but it took him, before his phone came back on in Genesee, it took him 28 minutes. Right? So they pick him up just south of the red drum scene, and they got him going around, crossing to go back to Washington, and then back to Pullman, back up through them streets again, and back into his home. They got it on cameras. Okay? They got him. Now, being that they've got that, okay, he was nowhere near this so-called park that he says that he was at in his alibi. Nowhere near it. Or will. Oh, it's like I can't catch a break, you guys. The headaches have been like crazy. Yeah, apparently he was stargazing on a night that was so foggy, and I've got that somewhere. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Kohberger. Kohberger. Case files. Kohberger. Okay. Let me put this on my other screen, you guys, just so I can see what you guys are saying. And I will pull it up when I find it. Okay, I need this bigger view. Extra large. There we go. Let me find it. Let me find it. I gotta go through a lot of files here right now, you guys. But I'm gonna find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, let me just minimize that. So in case we want to pull up anything else. Okay, I got to take this off the screen if you guys want to see this. Okay, replace screen with this. There it is. Okay. November 2022, weather in Pullman. Look at Sunday, November 30th, 12 a.m. from 6 p.m. on the 12th to 12 a.m. through here. Look at, there was ice fog. 6 a.m. still cloudy. But throughout the night, they have said there was ice fog. You couldn't see a star in the sky. Okay. What else do I have here? Hang on. That I can show you guys while we're waiting. Another thing I've always said to you guys, let me know what you think. We know, okay, because somebody slipped it. We know that they searched for the K-bar, right? They've got receipts. Okay, so there's a K-bar and sheath that Bryan purchased. There's Dickies that Bryan purchased. And there was something else too that Bryan purchased. Those three things, the prosecution says, was used in this red drum, right? So I know we're going to have some people in chat, and please do not delete their comments as long as they're respectable. They can believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. Okay? So, as long as they're respectful, don't get nasty, state your point. Don't attack the person, attack the point. Okay? That's all I ask. Because I'm for open discussion. So they know that he purchased a K-bar and a sheath. They know they purchased a Dickies, and there was something else that he purchased. I forget what it is now. I'll search through here and see if I can find it. All three of those things, the prosecution is saying Bryan Kohberger used. We know that there was a K-bar used because the sheath was left behind. There was no, how can I see this, red stuff in his car or anything like that. So somehow he kept himself covered. Now, we know that apparently he was covered. You could only see his eyes. Okay? So, the first thing I would have done if I was Bryan Kohberger's lawyer, is I would have produced the K-bar knife and sheath, the Dickies, and that third thing. I forget what it is, you guys. I'm sorry. Don't crucify me, but there was a third thing too. I would say, okay, Bryan, look it. They're saying there was a K-bar used. You purchased one just 2 months beforehand, and the sheath. Where can I find it? You bought Dickies. Where can I find them? And the third thing, where can I find them? Give them to me. Tell me where I can find them. So we can exonerate you right here and now. Look at, you guys have a sheath. Well, here's Bryan's right here. They didn't do it. I want, on that point that I just made, I want your opinion. It's like the first thing I would have done. Okay, you guys are saying this is the weapon. A K-bar was used to red drum these people. And the sheath for that was left behind. And you got a witness that says all you could see was his bushy eyebrows. He was covered head to toe in black. You're saying that he wore Dickies, and there was something else too. I forget. But anyway, look at, here's Bryan's Dickies that he purchased. Here's his K-bar and sheath. You got the wrong guy. There's somebody out there that doesn't have their sheath anymore for their K-bar that did this. Argument on that? Anybody? Anybody have an argument for that? I'm going to wait. As I wait for an argument on that, if I worked for a lot of prominent criminal lawyers. I did a lot of arguing for bail and stuff like that. I sat through tons of cases. The first thing I would have said was, motion to dismiss. Here's my client's K-bar and sheath. Here's my client's Dickies that he bought. And here's whatever that third thing was. Here's his phone. That's what I would have done. I want the case against my client dismissed. Here's his phone that proves, look at his maps on his phone. This proves he was over there at this park sitting out in the ice fog. Here it is. Because your mapping on your phone shows exactly where you go. Right? He thought he was smarter than everyone. He thought he had this planned out perfectly. Yeah. I'll try again. Sometimes they say clouds are so thick, you can cut them with the sheath. What do you guys think? I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. They know that he bought a K-bar and a sheath. They know he bought the Dickies. They got the receipts. Where are they? The police searched his apartment, his office at the university. They searched his car. They searched his parents. They're not there. The K-bar's not there. The sheath ain't there. And the Dickies and whatever else isn't there. Where are these things that you purchased, Bryan? I would have got a dismissal right there and then if I could produce. Here they are, Your Honor. It's not my client's sheath. Why is the defense not producing this to refute the prosecution saying that they have Bryan Kohberger's sheath from underneath Madison Mogan? Why? Where are they? I can tell you where they are. That extra time it took him to get to Genesee before he turned on his phone, it's in between the outskirts of Moscow there, where it starts getting dense. There's not a lot of houses and stuff, so he wouldn't be seen on cameras. In between there and Genesee, somewhere in that area is where he disposed of that knife and Dickies and everything else. There's 10 extra minutes it took him to get to Genesee. And as we were told by cameras, he went flying out of 1122 King Road after the red drums at a high rate of speed. So he would have got there even quicker. Where's the knife, the sheath, the dickies, etc. that he purchased? None was ever found in anywhere that his personal belongings were. I don't think he would try and burn anything because that would draw attention to himself. He buried what he was wearing and that knife. He buried it somewhere between the outskirts when he comes out of that little subdivision behind 1122 King Road and gets on that highway. From there to Genesee, somewhere in between there, he stopped. He got out of his car and he buried it. That's why he didn't turn his phone on until then. Because it would have shown that he stopped right here with these coordinates at a certain amount of time for a certain length of time. That's where he buried the stuff. My opinion. Okay, what else can I show you here? What's in here? I've got so many files here, you guys, on this guy. Extra large. What's this? Oh, that's Monroe County. So he was denied bail. What's this? I'm trying to see. I thought I had. Oh, here. Is this it? Yeah. So this is one of the things. Okay, I'm going to get this off the screen for a minute, you guys. As you can see, we're still. Oh, the court's on break. Okay. So the court will be coming back. The court is on a break. Probably a lunch break now, but it looked like they have wrapped up the part that was kept hidden from us under seal, because now it just changed and it's now saying the court is on break. It's not saying this part of the hearing is sealed. So I will keep that up in the background so we will hear when they do come back, and I'll put it back. But I want to show you this just for a second. Okay, because here's the arrest warrant. In the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Latah. This is the warrant of arrest for a felony. This is another thing that they have sealed now. I've already got it, but they have it sealed. They're trying to get this thrown out. Hello, K. Mitch. Okay, so they're trying to get that thrown out. I knew I had the warrants. Let me see if I got any of the other warrants that they're trying to get thrown out. This one. I can get rid of it because I got a duplicate of it. I got so many files, you guys. Those are all the search warrants that came back. Okay, I guess I can go over it. What's this? Okay, let me get rid of that. Let me bring this up. Okay. The court is on break, so let's bring this up. Okay, so this is what I mean. He leaves, number one. Okay, here's Pullman. He leaves at 2:42 a.m. Kohberger's cell phone is located at his residence. So he's at his residence. His cell phone shows him at his residence. At 2:47 a.m., the cell phone shows it traveling south through Pullman, but then stops reporting a network connection. So he comes here, it stops reporting. At 3:29 a.m., at 3:29 to 4:20 a.m., the Hyundai Elantra makes 3 initial passes by 1122 King Road residents, leaving via Walenta Drive. It returns a 4th time at 4:04 a.m., first driving eastbound on King Road. It leaves the area at 4:20 a.m., traveling at a high rate of speed. Okay? So we're over here. 3. Stops reporting to the network right here. Right here. The cell phone shows it traveling south through Pullman, but then stops reporting. 3 initial passes, so it's going by the King Road, and this is how it leaves. Instead of going back this way, whoops. Are you guys not seeing this? You guys aren't seeing it, are you? Hang on. Okay, now you can see it. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so let's do this again. Here is his apartment. He's located at his residence. The second time, he's going through Pullman. His phone goes off over here. Whoops, I just want to move this up. At 3:29 to 4:20, he's seen going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth across here. The next time, he is down here. Now, why wouldn't he have gone back up this way and back to Pullman, back to his apartment? Right? Why wouldn't he have gone back to his apartment this way? Why did he travel all the way down here around? It takes an hour, all the way back here and then go back to his apartment, because that's what this shows. Okay, so this is Blaine, Genesee 5. Okay, Blaine. Let's see what number 4 says. The cell phone comes back online and pings at Blaine. Okay, so it pings back here. It then pings at Genesee. And then it pings at Uniontown. Okay, so he goes from Blaine down here, and they say he goes around because there is a road here that he could have taken, but he wouldn't have pinged at Genesee if he would have came across here. He came down around here and up and pinged at Uniontown at 5:27 a.m. 6 at 9:21 a.m. The cell phone shows that it leaves Kohberger's home again. So wait a minute, we're missing some here. Oh, here we go. So between 4:50 and 4:27, the cell phone pings near Genesee, then Uniontown, and finally at Pullman between 5:25 and 5:27. So an hour later, it took him an hour. The sedan is recorded by 5 cameras in Pullman and on the WSU campus. So he's caught on tons of cameras, you guys. Then between 9 and 9:21 a.m., the cell phone shows that it leaves Kohberger's Pullman residence and travels to Moscow between 9:12 and 9:21 a.m. It connects with cellular resources that provide coverage to the area where the King Road residence is located. I think he went back to see if the police were already there and around. At 9:32, 10 minutes later, it returns to the area of Kohberger's residence. So this is a 10-minute drive. Okay, so after that, why would he go all the way down here and around instead of just going back to his residence this way? It was to get rid of stuff and to throw the timeline off. Oh, no, I wasn't there. Look at, I was in Genesee. I was out, stargazing in Genesee? I was out. I was nowhere near there. So he went back to the area around here, and I think it was to see if what kind of police activity was going on. Because why would he go there just to run back there again? And then he takes off again, and he is way down here. So I think here he's trying to make an alibi. Oh, look at, I was way down here near Clarkston, Washington, right? And 10 is off the map. 5:36 to 8:30, the phone stops reporting to a network during that time. It's the final something. The affidavit gives Kohberger's alleged movements on November 13th. So by 8:30 p.m. that night of the 13th, his phone stopped reporting again. So it's like, no. Where in this is he way over? Like, it would be off the map, because where he says he was stargazing is way over here somewhere. And it doesn't show him going way over there at all. That park is way over here somewhere. And the timeline from when his phone comes back on to when his phone reaches home again doesn't give him time to go over here. It's like 40 minutes. Like from here, it would be like 40 minutes this way. And it would be pinging off other towers. It wouldn't be pinging off towers around here. It would be pinging off towers 40 minutes away over here. Paula, what are you talking about? You came in here just to say that? There's no false info. I'm showing proof of everything that I'm saying. If you got a problem with that, maybe this isn't the channel for you. Okay? Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm surprised Shy didn't catch that one. Or one of the other mods. Where'd my mods go? Where's my mods? All right. There we go. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Let's see what else I got here that I can show you. Oh, I'm back. I had a phone call from my mom. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, well, I know a little bit of what's going on with that. Yeah, text me later. Text me on my personal cell phone. I love you. And give Mama a hug for me. I hope everything is okay. What else can I show you? Just trying to fill in some time here, you guys, until... Whoops. Extra large. Got the layout of the house and... What's this? Oh, I know what that is. Okay. Okay, I don't know if this... I'll bring up this and show you guys, because I think this is probably... Love you too, sis. Okay, replace it with this. Okay, so in this photo, so this is the way Bryan, they say he come up, is through here, and he kept going back and forth here. Okay, because he'd go up, he'd go around that big building, and he'd come back out, and he'd come down here. He'd go, then he'd come back, and he'd go up, and he'd go around that building, and then leave. He did that like 3 times, up, around, and then he'd leave. So each time he came up here, you see this right here? Let me blow it up. See this right here? That's a camera. So as his car is coming up this way, they were probably going to see that he didn't have a front license plate on that car. And they could possibly maybe have even made out his rear license plate, because at one time he does a 3-point turn here and goes back. That's when he goes back up here, and I believe he goes around the house. Okay, why did that just click off? Uh-oh. Okay, my screen just messed up again. Like I said, you guys, I got to update my graphics card, because I just stopped sharing for some reason. Okay. What's this? Oh, okay. This is from Sleuthy Goosey. Okay, let me stop sharing this. Maybe that's why it's happening. Let me share this with you. Okay, so this is all the stuff that they got from his person, from the car, and from his parents' house. So on his person, they got a silver flashlight, 4 medical style gloves, Arizona Jean Company white t-shirt, large, Champion WSU Cougars black sweatshirt, large, 1 pair of black and white Nike shoes, size 13, 1 pair of black Under Armour socks, 1 Under Armour shorts, large, Under Armour boxers, large, buccal swab. From the Hyundai, they took swabs, Ziploc bag with pink zipper, plastic baggie with green zipper, quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies, gloves, receipts, car insurance card, card registration, reflective vest, hiking boots, Comfort Inn, room key holder and stay information, tire iron, shovel. See, there's a shovel there. He buried that stuff just outside of Moscow, you guys. Goggles, floor mats, wrench, used water bottles, door panel, seats and cushions, headrest, seatbelt, visor, fibers, the brake pedal, gas pedal, seatbelt. See, getting the brake and gas pedal, the dirt can be analyzed to find out where that dirt came from. Phone charger, a Band-Aid, wrappers, maps, and documents. Okay, so from his parents' house, Michael Kohberger's PA residence, they took a knife, a Smith & Wesson pocket knife, Taylor cutlery knife in leather sheath, a book with underlining on page 118. I wonder what that was. AT&T bill for Bryan Kohberger. There's documents, personal identifying documents, Washington State University paperwork, a note from in the desk, a note from Bryan from Montana, ID cards inside a glove and inside a box. I wonder what those ID cards were. Why would you hide them inside a glove and then put them inside a box, right? Criminal psychology book, various criminology books, notes, licenses, and cards, documents, and DeSales University notebook, a man's world drawing, books, white paper with password, medical documents, court documents, note to court documents. Maybe that's when he got pulled over. He has court documents from when he got pulled over, maybe. Note to dad from Bryan, maroon colored spiral notebook, folder containing vehicle paperwork, a Glock 22, 40 caliber, and 40 caliber Glock magazines, empty. Application return of sale for a Glock 22, 40 caliber. Application return of sale. An Acer laptop, Seagate Barracuda, internal solid state drive, Samsung SSD, 500 gigabit Intel Optane in black box, HP 100B all-in-one PC, Lenovo iPad, IdeaPad laptop, a motherboard, Tangent model medallion, damaged Asus laptop, damaged HP laptop, green container of greeny leafy substance. We know what that is. Plastic bag of leafy substance. Prescription cell phone, power cable, black face masks, black gloves and black knit hat, dark colored hats, dark colored clothes, dark clothes in a laundry basket, dark green short sleeve shirt, black long sleeve shirt, black sweatshirt, gray jacket, black pants, black jeans, black long sleeve shirts, black pants, gray jacket, gray knife felt hat, gray knit felt hat, black glove, black hat and black mask, dark colored boots, brown boots, New Balance shoes, dark colored jacket labeled A, dark jackets labeled B, dark colored jackets labeled C, dark colored jackets labeled D, Columbia fleece navy size extra large, dark colored shirts labeled A, B, C, dark colored pants labeled A and B, clear plastic glove, item photographed but not taken. I don't know what that would have been. A Craftsman's shop vac, a swab, S1, a suspect swab, S1, S2, S3, and S4. So there you go on that. That I don't see any K-bar knife there or knife sheath. I don't see any Dickies. Right? What's this? Yeah, and here's where he updated his plates. Five days after the red drums. Updated when owner moved the vehicle to a new location. That's what he said, right? The reason for it, you have to give a reason why you're updating your plates. Registration updated when owner moved the vehicle to a new state, but he had already been there since May. Why didn't he do it back in May? Right? You got like how many days when you move, you've got how many days to change your address? I think it's like a week. Why did he wait until after the redrums? Why wasn't this done? He's into law. Why he knows I'm moving to home in Washington. I got to change my plates to Washington plates. I live in Washington now. He didn't do that back in May. He waited until November after the redrums. So there's that. That's about it, you guys. Unless there's anything else you guys want me to show while we're waiting. I don't know how long let me see. Can I back up? No. I can't even back it up to see if they came on, at least to say how long we were going to be. Let me see. Give me a second, you guys. Whoops. Okay, so today what they're going to be a lot of the motions, so stick around because the man accused of 4 University of Idaho students is in court for a pivotal hearing where his legal team is asking the judge to toss out nearly all the key evidence by challenging the legality of the search warrants. So that's what's going to be happening when they come back from now it's saying this portion of the hearing is closed again. So that's what it is today. I can't wait to see this, you guys. The defense is gonna be asking the judge to dismiss the evidence in the case. They're saying that the use of the IGG was unconstitutional and that without that, they wouldn't have Bryan Kohberger. So they're saying that it's all going to be thrown out. People are freaking out that the judge isn't opening this hearing today. There's somebody that's saying, I won't say what forum it's on, it's crazy, but well, Bryan Kohberger wants all this transparency all of a sudden. He should petition the court to lift the gag order. Well, he has. And it was denied. And that was just posted by somebody. You can tell when it starts turning like that, that something's going on. Like when you can see it turning in the middle of the screen there. Yes, hopefully they're getting like ready, like, come on, let's go. Because now it was saying that they were on break, and now it's saying this portion of the hearing is closed. The defense is also saying, are alleging mishandling of evidence. And we all know how these things can drag and drag and drag and drag and drag, right? Saying it was mishandled by law enforcement and by the prosecution. And they're trying to get the judge to throw out all the DNA evidence, including the buccal swabs and everything. Don't mind me, you guys. I'm just standing up here because my butt is going numb. They're trying to get all the DNA thrown out, which means his buccal swab, everything, because they're saying that if they can get the IgG information that they received thrown out, then they say anything after that happened after that is also should be thrown out, because they're saying that if it wasn't for the IgG, they wouldn't have caught Bryan Kohberger. I don't believe that, because he was already on their radar. And then when they did that cell phone tower dump, so not only did we have the security guard from Washington State University call in and say, hey, we got somebody here by the name of Bryan Kohberger that's in residence at Washington State University here. He has a white Elantra. There's video of him leaving around that time and then coming back like within the hour of the crime happening. So they had that. And then when they did the tower dump, his phone was in there too. Right? Oh my God, it is. It's like it's giving me a major headache. Both ears, and that's from being out in the freezing cold and the wind. Like usually I put a hat on, but I was going to my granddaughter's birthday party, so I didn't have my hat on. I didn't want to mess up my hair, and my own fault. Cold wind got in my ears, and I'm prone to ear infections because I got sinus problems, so that sets you up for throat and ear infections to begin with. So now my sinuses are blocked, my ears are killing. It hurts to even chew. Like last night trying to eat dinner, it was like, oh my God, I was in so much pain. Like right up where your jaw meets the lobe almost of your ears, underneath your ears there. Oh my God. It was like, take me to the vet and have me put down. I tell my doctor that all the time. Just take me to the vet and have me put down. He laughs. I'm trying to get more information, you guys, if any. I don't, and just telling you what people are saying on the YouTube streets here and Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff. Yeah, they're saying that it's going to be a real battle regarding this evidence stuff if the judge decides. I can't see. Oh, yeah, Carolette, I'm on all kinds of stuff. I'm on. Oh, let me get my glasses here. They gave me. Oh, where is it? Azramisterin or something like that, an antibiotic. And I got the Symbicort. That's for my nasals. And I've also got the cyclozanide spray. And then I've got the tobramycin dexamar or whatever for my ears. Which reminds me, I got to put my eardrops in again. So I've got two things for I've got my Symbicort because I'm having trouble with my lungs because of problems with the sinuses and everything that's going on. I got asthma anyway, but I got the Symbicort, I got my Ventolin. I got the Amvays. It's like, I look like a pharmacy sitting over here. Okay, so let me get these eardrops in again. I got to do it 3 times a day, you guys, morning, noon, and nighttime. So let me get them in, and I'm just going to mute while I do that. All right. I don't even know if I got it in my ear because it's running down my ear. Hopefully some got in there. I keep pushing the little flap over to push it kind of in there, but we'll see if that helps. I'm still looking for more stuff. Here we go. Yeah, they're saying that it could be a really big battle when this finally does come online, over which evidence is going to be allowed. So as it stands, you guys, they're saying Bryan Kohberger's team wants the DNA evidence public. They also want it thrown out. And they're claiming that it was a totally faulty investigation. They're going to be challenging the prosecution's methods that they used, the DNA. Oh boy, somebody almost got hit right out front of my house. Yeah, so they're also challenging the prosecution's methods and how they went about gathering evidence and everything too. They're also fighting the arrest warrants, all the search warrants. They want everything thrown out. Yeah, I get that, Nana, but he had moved there. He wasn't just there as a student. He had moved there. He had applied to work for the Pullman Police. He had an internship with the Washington State University as a teacher's aide of some kind. He was planning on staying there, living there. When he went back to Pullman, he still had his apartment in Washington. He was just going home for the holidays. And in yesterday's hearing, like I would play it if I could pull it up, but there was a point that even the judge had said that the case had been shrouded in too much secrecy. And he says, I think there's been to date an overcaution in asking that I seal things. So even the judge is saying, like, look at, you guys keep asking for this stuff to be sealed. You've asked for it since the beginning, and now you're wanting to unseal things. Like, he sees what the defense is trying to do now. Like, they know they messed up. They know they messed up on sealing certain things, because now, instead of it looking like, oh, the prosecution doesn't have anything, it's more leaning towards, oh my God, people are just coming up with their own theories on what they have heard, what was in the arrest affidavit and everything. And they're coming to their own conclusions. They are investigating a lot more than we thought they would. And, you know, they're interviewing, like there's YouTubers that have been out there interviewing people, driving the course that they feel Bryan Kohberger took. What I don't see is anybody out there searching those properties. I don't know, maybe if they can or they can't, but I don't think Bryan Kohberger would have went on private property. Or anywhere that was lit up. You know what I mean? I've seen a couple of spots that I would be interested in going out there and searching. Or if there's going to be a search team out there looking for evidence, for looking for what he was wearing and that K-bar, there's a couple spots that I have that I would like searched, that I've been drawn to. Yeah, he's no judge, that's for sure, Carol. Like at the beginning, in our terms, the judge basically said, we are going to keep the dumb effery to a minimum. Like, he ain't for that. But the judge has said, like, there's so much that's been sealed in this case that, you know, his hands are basically tied now. You can't demand something be sealed to protect your client and then come back and say, it's got to be unsealed to protect my client. You can't have it both ways. You wanted it sealed to protect your client's rights, and now you want it unsealed to protect your client's rights. Which one is it? Like, we're not doing this, is basically what he said. We're not playing this back and forth. Absolutely, Alice. I don't disagree. There is corruption everywhere. It's not just, you know, in the Karen Reed case, there could very well be some corruption here. We don't know. We'll only see that when it gets to trial, right? But what I am saying is I see a lot of distractions with the defense. You know what I mean? They're doing things to distract away from the evidence that is there. If they had a strong case, believe me, I don't know if you just came in, but I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. The first thing, I worked in the legal field in criminal law for over 30 years. I'm retired now. Anyway, if I would have been Bryan Kohberger's lawyer, I would have said, because they know he purchased the K-bar knife and sheath. They know he purchased the Dickies, and there was something else. I still haven't found what that is. But anyway, there was something else too that they got a receipt for. Now, if the prosecution is saying a K-bar knife was used, we found the sheath, he was covered in something, all you could see was his bushy eyebrows, he had masks and all this stuff. My first thing as Bryan Kohberger's lawyer would be, did you purchase that? Because they got receipts to say you did 2 months ago. Yes, I did. Give it to me. You walk into court and say, here's Bryan Kohberger's K-bar knife that he purchased and sheath. Here's the Dickies he purchased. I want a dismissal, Your Honor. They got the wrong guy. There's somebody out there with a K-bar knife that's missing their sheath, but it isn't my client because here's his. Boom. Right? Absolutely. And I am all for transparency. Hey, if there's corruption here, bring it forth. If not, stop trying to project that there is. They're trying to turn the tides in a storm that they created. And the judge said it bluntly. You asked for all this to be sealed to protect your client's rights. Now you want it unsealed to protect your client's rights. You can't have it both ways. They thought by sealing all this stuff and everything that the outcome in media and YouTube and everything, all social media, would be, oh my God, like this poor guy. But it backfired. So now they want it all unsealed. Because look they shouldn't be able to do this. If you give your DNA for family tree, whatever, they shouldn't be able to. The bottom line is, regardless of how they got there, the DNA on the knife sheath matches Bryan Kohberger. And fighting and arguing is never going to change that. That's why they're trying to get it thrown out, saying that it was collected either wrong, illegally, whatever. It doesn't change the fact that your client's DNA is on that knife sheath and nobody else's. If there would have been somebody else that stole his knife, their DNA would have been on it too. If it wasn't his knife and sheath, then where's the one? Produce the one that he bought. Produce his Dickies. They can't. What does that tell you? And what they do is, because that, I haven't heard really anybody talk about that. If your client, if they have this evidence against your client saying he purchased the K-bar, he purchased the sheath, he purchased the Dickies, produce them and say, here you go. You got the wrong guy, because here's my client's K-bar and sheath. I don't know who's you got with DNA on it, but that isn't my clients. I would have said that right at the beginning. But they're not. They're not producing what the prosecution can prove that he bought. And I just went over the whole list of things that they took and nowhere in there is there a K-bar, a sheath, and the Dickies. Where are they? Why did he get rid of them within 2 months of buying them? And not even 2 months, a month and a bit. Where are they? Right? So I agree. Everything should be public. I absolutely think they got the right guy too. I'm leaving 10%. I'm 90% sure. You know, and when you can disprove his alibi and stuff like that, it seems the more that they put out these frivolous motions, the more people dig in and the more that people find on their own. Yes, and the IGG has been used by the FBI since 2018. And then you've got a case that they bring up that the Innocence Project, which is, you know, there's people in there that are law enforcement. They use it to decide what the hell is that? They use that to exonerate people, right? Look it's not him. So if it's a double-edged sword, you can't let one set of people be able to access the IGG to exonerate people, but you can't let the law enforcement use IGG to catch people and to prove that that's their DNA or to find whose DNA that belongs to. You can't have it both ways. And like I said, it's been used since 2018. The FBI does not have to disclose their techniques. And they're probably pretty pissed that Ann Taylor is making a big deal of this. Because I think a lot of people are not going to, especially if they have people in their family that are criminals, they're not going to want this to submit their DNA for any of these sites anymore. And they're probably calling up like people that have gangsters and shit in their families or, you know, crime people and that. They're probably calling up saying, destroy my DNA right now. I want it out of your system. But even the judge is getting fed up. And it's like, you know, to date, there's been overcaution in sealing things. And he says, you know, like you get what you ask for. I have a funny feeling their portion of the hearing's closed. Yeah, and they have today and tomorrow set aside for this. We just seen it spinning here on screen again. Carol says it gets BK out of his cell. Yeah, he wasn't at yesterday's hearing. Alice says she tried this before. Yeah. Like I said, the IGG argument has been drugged through the mud I don't know how many times, and there's already been rulings on it. So now they're just trying to convince the judge that investigators violated his rights. You know what I mean? Well, his rights weren't violated. He has no standing in that. If anybody's rights were violated, they could say that, the people who submitted their DNA to these sites rights were violated, right? Let me see. What the heck is this? New wildfires are raging out of control. Oh, great. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and make another coffee. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. All right, my thing froze up on me here. Kate Bell says, Willow, did you get any snow your way? We're getting snow now. It's been snowing since I got up this morning at 7, quarter to 7, I think excuse me, that I was up this morning, and it's been snowing, and it's cold. So I just grabbed myself, you guys are going to howl, some old cheddar cheese. I sliced some of that up while my coffee was brewing. And I threw some salt and garlic powder on them. No, it's not on my system, hon. It was on the site because I can see it on everybody's feed. Okay. Let me stop sharing that. Yeah, it's still closed. Now I can tell when mine's buffering because it comes up on my studio thing. But that circle that was buffering was on the Idaho site itself. So what do you guys think of my... This was just quick. While my coffee was brewing, I grabbed some Cajun chicken, lunch meat, and I sliced up some old cheddar cheese and I put some salt and garlic powder on them. Huh. It's not bad, actually. Let me see what they're saying over here. Huh. I feel special now. SF investigates. He's just blocking everybody. Yeah, I got this. I stopped at this one store that we have here. It's called Farm Boy. And it's a little more expensive to shop at, but their stuff is all fresh. Like I've gone to Walmart and got strawberries, and the next day they're molding. So if you want fresh stuff, you go to Farm Boy. Anyway, and they slice the meat as thin or as thick as you want. So I got some Cajun chicken breast. Oh my God, is ever good. But yeah, the Lore Lodge on Twitter here. I was looking at Twitter for a bit. X, whatever you want to call it. And people are posting that SF investigates, blocked them all. And I don't know what possessed me to put garlic powder on my cheese with salt. I don't know. Charissa says, I'm stress eating. Come on already. Right? It's still saying this portion of the hearing's closed. and I just refreshed it. So, and I'm checking out everybody else, and they're saying the same thing. They're waiting. Me too, Carol. I was hungry, and I gotta take my pills there, my antibiotics, and I gotta have something in my stomach, or they will kill your stomach. Yeah, I don't got the garlic. I don't got the garlic on the Cajun chicken though. I got the garlic on my cheese. It's old cheddar. I thought I'd gotten medium, but I didn't. I grabbed old cheddar. So I throw some salt on there. I got low blood pressure anyway, so the salt helps. So I threw some salt on there with some garlic powder. Don't forget the yogurt. I do have yogurt in the fridge. Are you not supposed to have yogurt with antibiotics? Every time I come on to Twitter, I realize why I stopped going on Twitter. Leave it to JLR. JLR's in Florida, right? And he's up in Tallahassee. That's probably why we're not seeing Miss Missy, because she's in Tallahassee and the snow there is unreal. And JLR is in Tallahassee right now, and he's going, well, like, where's the snow plows? Florida Panhandle roads are a complete mess. Where's the snow plows? Well, why would Florida have snow plows? You know what I mean? Like, this is a once in a million years. Well, not a million, but you know what I mean. Crazy. Oh, you're supposed to have yogurt with antibiotics? Okay. Some antibiotics say no dairy products while taking them. Mine doesn't. Cheese is a dairy product. Yeah. These pills that they gave me, there's only 6 pills. You take 2. First day you start them, you take 2, and then you take 1 a day for the next 4 days. Well, he put me on it for 7 days. But if you don't eat, they kill your stomach. I'm telling you, it's like being in labor for 36 hours. Yeah, me either. I've been lucky that way. I've never gotten any kind of infection or anything from antibiotics. Oh, good. There's somebody that I've actually followed a lot over on Twitter, and me and her have gone back on some cases. Like, I get some information, I'll give it to her. She gives it to me. We've had a really good rapport. Anyway, she's in Florida, and she's got what's that Sesame Street character that's all red? They made like a stuffy out of him and everything. What's his name? Oh, oh, I know his name too. The fuzzy red guy. Charissa James. I took an antibiotic that put me out of commission for months. Destroyed my gut flora. Take probiotics. Yeah, I've got these. I've got oh, oh, you guys can't see it. I've got oh, good thing I pulled the whole big box out because I'm down. I got to get some more of these. I got the Align probiotic digestive support. I got those. Oh, give me a second. My snow guy was here, coming to plow out my driveway. They'll be doing that a couple times today, I'm sure. Don't mind me, you guys. I'm just eating a little something here. Elmo, that's him. Anyway, she's got a picture of Elmo, and he's shaking away. And she's got like a scenery behind him, like a back screen or whatever, with all pine trees with snow all covering them. And he's in the middle of a blizzard. And she's going, it's effing cold. I thought that was cute. How they salt the roads in Florida. They got people on the back of pickup trucks throwing handfuls of salt out across the road. They're sitting in the back. They got the tailgate down. Somebody's driving. There's three guys on the back of this pickup, or two or three guys on the back of the pickup, and they're taking handfuls of salt and throwing it onto the roads. Oh my God, it's funny. Okay, Nana. You know, that's not bad. Try it, you guys. Slice up some old cheddar cheese, throw some salt and garlic powder on them. Oh my God, they're good. Who's going to watch that movie that's coming out by Steven Soderbergh? Presence. Supposed to be pretty scary. In the trailers, they show this lady walking through her house that's pretty much emptied out, and she looks into a mirror, and there's a male standing behind her, but when she turns around, there's nobody there. It's called Presence. Uh-oh. An alligator frozen under the ice. Aw. Well, he's still moving. He's got his nose poked out. So at least he can breathe. Okay, give me a second, you guys, because Marie, one of our mods here, Marie, just messaged me. So give me a second. All right. So Marie probably, who's here? Nana? Looks like you'll be the only mod for a bit, Nana, because Marie won't be back, I don't think. She just got word that her cousin is in a coma. He's going in for surgery, so I'm not sure if she's going to pop back in or not. On the trail, Kim says, I love a good scary thriller movie. Okay. Okay, let me do this. There you go, you guys. Yes, Nana, finally. Finally. Welcome all new members. It's free for the month. You're very welcome, Nana. Carol says, on a happier note, the squirrels outside think it's spring, babies in the future. Oh my gosh, here it's like the squirrels are freezing. I've been putting nuts out every morning and they've been eating them up. So okay, I'm trying to get the court thing back up. Hang on. This portion of the hearing is closed. Still. It's 2:00. Well, almost 2:00 Eastern. So it's almost noon there. So I'm assuming that they will be taking lunch very soon. Or I'll show you. There you go. See? Still saying it's closed. Like, that's unreal. Right now, it's warmed up a bit. I've got on my thing here, it says it's -8. I got this morning, it was -15. And even that isn't really cold. Okay, let me go put this back in the fridge. Give me a second. got myself some Activia yogurt. Oh, that coffee's nice and hot, though. I got some Activia yogurt, the little single serving ones. I usually have a couple of those a day, too. Oh, you know what I got, you guys? Totally off topic. I got the Hershey Kisses with strawberry cream inside. Oh my God, are they ever good? I'm not a big person on chocolate. It doesn't really agree with me a lot. But when I seen Hershey Kisses with strawberry cream inside, oh yeah. In my cart they went. I'm starving. Go grab something quick, Carol. Go grab something quick to eat. Okay, why can't I do this? Oops. You guys, me trying to figure stuff out on this computer. It's crazy. Chocolate Cajun. No, I didn't eat any of the chocolate. I wouldn't do that because that would probably upset my stomach. But they're sitting right here on my desk, like next to me. Chocolate dipped strawberry flavor. So it's, yeah, they look like, when you open them, they look like normal Hershey Kisses until you bite them and it's like the strawberry cream inside. Oh my God, they're good. I had some last night. What's this say? High in saturated fat and sugars. I guess that's not good because there's a Health Canada warning on it. Let's see. But there's 4%, 1 gram of fiber in 9 pieces. That's got to mean something. There's Marie. Yes, I just got your text and I just let them know that your cousin is going in for surgery. So I didn't know if you were going to be back or not. So our prayers are with him. He's going to be okay. No worries. He'll be okay. So anything you want to share about it, that's fine. I just didn't want to say what it was or anything like that. I just said that he was in a coma and going for surgery. So if you want to share anything more than that, you can. But just to let you know, prayers are being sent out. This coffee cup is so loud. I just love it, though. I think I talked about this the other day, my Contigo. Oh, my God. They're good coffee cups. I just got to keep remembering to put my finger over where you drink from when I open it up because it's under pressure and it spews everywhere. I think I got myself in the face and everything the other day. Yes, I did get your text. I messaged you back. I'm almost positive. Tell me I didn't hit send. Oh, yes. I sent it. I sent a message. It said, sending healing prayers, fam. You'll be okay. So I did reply. 1 gram of fiber in 9 pieces. The rest is all saturated fats, trans fat, 25 grams of sugar, There's 2 grams of protein, 20 milligrams of sodium, 100 milligrams of potassium, 50 milligrams of calcium, and 0.75 milligrams of iron in 9 pieces. I didn't even eat 9 pieces, and they were really good. I think I had like 5. So I should eat more just to get some more iron into me and calcium. I talked to his son, and the tumor on his brain is huge and on the right side. Oh my gosh, Marie. He'll be okay. Yes, we got prayer warriors here for sure. And Nana's got the best prayer warriors ever. Carol says don't read the nutrition facts. Yeah. Let's skip the bad ones and just talk about the fiber and calcium. Oh, my nose is so blocked. Yeah, we'll skip the fat. We'll skip the carbohydrates. Well, except for the fiber. There's good fiber. There's 2 grams of protein, 5 milligrams cholesterol. We'll skip the sodium. Potassium, 100 milligrams. That's a lot. Calcium, 50 milligrams. Iron, 0.75 per 9 pieces. It's like, well, don't look to Hershey's Kisses for iron. Me, I love my baby spinach. I'll buy like one of those big, huge containers of baby spinach or one big bag of baby spinach, and I'll eat it all. I put it in my big wok, and like the wok is full, and this is probably like I could probably fit 3/4 of a gallon of water in this wok, and you throw it all into the wok, and it's filled the wok. By the time you like 3 minutes later, as soon as you put heat on it, because I like to put some salt, some pepper, and garlic powder. I put garlic powder in anything I can. Garlic's good for you. Garlic powder in there, and put the lid on. Like 3 minutes later, it's like you've got like a small teacup of baby spinach left. But I love my spinach. My advice, eat it with a Diet Coke. Makes all the other calories negligent. Oh, gosh, Carissa. Carissa says, my advice, eat it with a Diet Coke. Makes all the other calories negligent. Break your cookie in half the calories will escape. Oh, God. Marie says, good thing is that the blood flow is minimal, so the chances of bleeding out during surgery is very low. Good. That's a good thing. I know he'll be okay. He's a crazy mountain man. There you go. Well, know that we're surrounding him in our loving arms and praying. The good Lord will keep him safe. Okay, we're going to take this off because it keeps, that is buffering now. Yeah, it's not buffering over here. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't know what is going on. Let me just see here for a minute. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Like I said, I've got the sound on, so as soon as it comes up, I will hear it. Let's go over here for a minute. Carol, it says, well, somehow, Willow, I picture you as a thin person. Oh, I'm thin. Huh. I am thin. I'm 5'3" and about 118 pounds. Okay, let me see if I can find out anything over here. Over here. So eat oodles of kisses. Hello, hello, Joanna, and welcome. We are just waiting for court to start. And thank you so much for your $10 super chat. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. I don't know what just happened to my screen. Can you guys see anything on my screen? What do you guys see on my screen? Let me just check over here. See, that's what happens when I start trying to open stuff. Let's see. What happened? Am I back on the screen, you guys? A big gray dot. Okay, let me go out. If I lose you guys for some reason, I will start up a new live. I'm going to exit and come back in because thank you again, Joanna. You are awesome. It's black with her. See, my whole screen is white. Okay, let me exit and I'll come right back in. High memory usage. Okay, hang on. Okay, let me just see. Okay, let me exit and come back. Okay, is that better? Is that better, you guys? Hopefully that's better. There we go. All right. Now, where did that go? Because I want to put that on screen. I don't know if it was because I did this. Let's see. Let's see if it does it again. But it's when I put the super chat up. Okay, so you got the wings and everything back? All right. So I'm going to close out my studio so I don't take up as much memory, because it's saying my memory. That's weird. And now I can't. Okay, so it was saying that I was using very high memory, so that's probably why it kept cutting out on me. And now it's saying normal memory use. So I don't know what is going on with that. We'll keep it like this, I guess. It's still saying that this portion of the hearing is closed. I can put that back up on the screen. There we go. Okay, so everything's back to normal, right? All right, let's see what it's saying now about memory usage. It's still good, so there you go. I think it was because I was, oh, now it's up to 607. Ugh, I don't like that. But it's still good, so it's not saying high memory usage. So that's a good thing. Pretty soon it'll be lunch. I think it already is. It's like 12:15 there. You're very welcome, Alice. Okay, let me go back and check over here and see if there's any information I can get. It's probably going to boost my memory usage like crazy now. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see what I can find out. Maybe somebody's got some information on what they are doing. Latest. Yeah, so they're going to be hearing 12 motions today to suppress as soon as we can start seeing it. 12 motions to suppress. But right now, what they're dealing with is the IGG stuff and the Franks motion. The judge wasn't supposed to hear the Franks motion today, but he put it in so he can get it off the docket, right? Somebody following me. This person follows me on Twitter and on Facebook, and she just put out too, we know now that the two Washington State UPDs found Bryan Kohberger on the 29th. I think we finally found it. This is how Bryan Kohberger's name was found the second time. So they must have been watching my live when I brought that up. So one of them, they're going to be challenging the methods in which they used. That's what they're doing right now with the IGG. They're having a Franks motion. They're trying to say that some of the police officers went outside of the scope of what they were able to do, and that have shady history. Weird. Along with wanting all the evidence thrown out, because they're saying that if they got the IGG, if they got his DNA legally, then nothing should be allowed in. No warrants, no nothing. which means they would have to dismiss the case. The judge isn't going to do it. Oh crap. I haven't shoveled my stairs and here comes the post office girl. As long as she doesn't follow my stairs. I got good insurance, but oh, there's my mailbox. Let me go grab my mail. Thank you. She looks like she is freezing. It's a female postman today. She looks like she is freezing. What's this? All right. Oh, this is bad, you guys. Like, this is bad. Like, why have this up if you're not going to show it to us? Alice says, thank you again, Joanna, for your $10 super chat. It's appreciated. Alice says, how does Ann Taylor sleep at night? She has all the evidence, so we know she knows. Like I said, it's her job. She has to do everything humanly possible to defend him. And being that he's a PhD student in law, she's under more scrutiny. I do think a lot of this odd stuff, how can I put this? Going to the extent that she goes in some of her filings, I think Bryan Kohberger is behind a lot of it. He thinks he's smart. He thinks he can, outwit everybody and try and go back and use all these outdated laws and try and bring them back. And, she's doing what she's supposed to do. Now, is she going to the extreme? Yes. But I also think that she's got Bryan with a match to her butt saying, I don't care. I want you to file this too, and file this and file this and file this and do this and do this and challenge this. I think he has a lot to do with this because I've never seen this before in my life. Okay, I'm giving in, you guys. I'm having some of my Hershey Kisses. As I'm looking for anything new to pop up to give us any indication how long this is going to be closed. Play one of your Idaho 4 readings. I'm scared to do that. Because my system keeps shutting down. I need to update my graphics card. The one that I would want you guys to watch is the one that I put out on December 6th. Before anybody ever mentioned Bryan Kohberger's name, like it wasn't in the media at all until the 29th when he was arrested. Then his name came out. Nothing about suspects, nothing. That reading was spot on because it described Bryan to a T, that he'd be working at the university, that he was like a professor or a lecturer giving some lectures and stuff. It also said that he took something from the victims, and we do know that there was a bunch of IDs that were found hidden inside a glove and then put into like a cardboard box or something. A lot came out in that read that described him, and it said that the police had found something. They're just not sharing it with us. And the police are on to somebody, but they're not sharing it with us. And lo and behold, on the 29th, when we finally found out that Bryan Kohberger is a guy and that he was arrested, that's the first time we heard about him. Everything that came out in that read 3 weeks earlier was spot on. I'll get the link for it. Hang on. See, my screen just flashed again. Let me get rid of that for a minute. What the hell? Hang on. Hang on, you guys. Oh, come on now. Let me find it. I'm just looking, you guys, so. Okay. Why is it doing that? Hang on. Oh, that's why. Okay, hang on. I will. I know it is time for a new computer. I've had this one forever. Oh, God, where is it? What the hell? Oh, I know what I did wrong. This is crazy, you guys. I don't know why my search isn't working, but it's not working. So I have to scroll through all my videos to go all the way back. Yeah, it's from December 6th, 2023. 2022, sorry. Okay, it should be in this lot right here. Oh, it's December 8th. Oh, kidding me? Give me a second, you guys. Give me a second. Ugh. Freaking Amazon. Okay, here it is. This is the link to it. We can try and play it. Let me just get my earbuds. My earbuds. I just hope it doesn't mess up my computer. It's 38 minutes. Okay. Okay, I got no sound. Why? Hang on. Let me figure out why I got no sound here. Hang on. Oh, because my Bluetooth's off. Okay. Okay, hang on. Okay, now I'm connected. Okay, so let's. Hang on. I still got no sound. What the hell's going on? Hang on. Hang on, you guys. Let's see. I don't know why I can't hear it. Okay. Speakers, but it's not coming through. Okay, just forget it. Hang on. Oh, let me try something here. Hang on. Hmm. Yeah, I've got no sound coming through my earbuds. Hang on. It's now saying the cord is on a break. Well, this sucks. Anyway, there's the link to the read. I put it in chat, but I can't seem to get my sound coming through my earbuds. Let me try one more time. Maybe this one. It says connected, so let me see if this will play now. I'm not getting it. My earbuds are connected, but I'm not getting any sound. All right. Well, that kind of sucks. I don't know what's going on there, but I'll put my sound back on there. And this. Let me get back up the feed. Okay. Let's get this back up. Because now it is saying, oops. Now it is saying again that the cord is on a break. I did, Kate. I tried to bring it up on my other screen. I opened another browser tab, brought it up, and usually, like I said, my whole computer is screwed. Usually I can hear it. Like I can hear it through my speakers, but I can't hear it through my earbuds for some reason. Oh, excuse me, you guys. I'm gonna try and charge them up and see. Let me just check here. What's this? Whoa. Oh, I know what it could be. Hang on. Okay, that's what was wrong. It's because it was connecting to my cell phone. Damn it. Okay. Um. Let me see if I can show this and then copy it. So I don't have to search for it again. Oh, no. Because I think if I click on it, if I click on the, oh, I can't. Okay, hang on. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this one. Hopefully I don't mess up here. Route. Okay, so here's my reading. Whoops, that I did on the Bryan Kohberger. This is, and it's going to show you right here. You can see in the little box. Whoops. When I click on this, look at the box that comes up. It says streamed live on December 8th, 2022. So this is a long before they even knew Bryan Kohberger or anything. So let's take a quick listen. We'll put it on playback speed 1.5, maybe 1.25, because I talk fast. Okay, so let's watch. I do have the court still up, so when it does start, I will hear it. Now, I don't know if this is going to play. Like I said, I need more. I need a better graphics card and memory. Okay, come on. Play. Come on. Oh, come on. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, hang on. Let's go from the beginning. There we go. Okay, hello everybody. So I have been asked. Yeah, it's not going to let me play it, you guys. Maybe it's because I'm playing it too fast. Normal. That's my bad. That's my computer, you guys. Yeah, anyway, the link is in the chat. Check it out. See high memory usage again. Okay, I'm going to exit and I'll be right back. Because I don't want it to mess up when court starts. Okay, give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, see, now I'm not using any memory at all. It's when I start trying to fart around with shit. Okay. I'm just going to leave this on. I don't want to mess around with it anymore because I don't want it messing up when we go to watch it. So let me share it with you. There you go. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and when it starts, it starts. I'm going to take these earbuds out. I'll put them back in whenever it starts. Can you guys hear me eating some Hershey's Kisses? Yeah, like I said, my whole system needs an overhaul, or I need a new system. I think I'm just going to go and buy a new system. I'm going to go on my phone and see if I can get any info. Okay, let's search. See if anybody knows anything. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is from Bryan Kohberger. Am I glitching? Seriously? Am I still glitching? Okay, Belle, am I still glitching? So Bryan Kohberger seems to think that we're not going to get anything today. So if I'm glitching that bad, I may just wrap it up and Because we've been here almost 4 hours. And we've got nothing. This is what we've got. So how about this, you guys? I'm going to wrap it up. And let's stop sharing that. If the court thing does come online, I will jump back on. As long as it's not like 9 o'clock tonight or something. And in the meantime, I'm going to figure out what I can do with this to free up some more memory and stuff so I'm not glitching. But right now, it doesn't look like, and from what I've heard on Twitter, a lot of the news people are saying that we're not going to get anything today. They're arguing, I guess, pretty bad. Like, even the media is not allowed in the courtroom. But apparently there's a big fight on about getting rid of the IGG and everything, because if they do that, then they've got nothing, right? So I'll wrap it up, and if anything just pop off, hopefully I see it, because I'm going to try and reboot my computer, reset it, and see if I can't get rid of some of this problem I'm having with the memory. Okay, so we'll do that. And I'll see you guys again as soon as this comes back online. Hopefully we get something this afternoon, but if not, we'll try again tomorrow. Okay, so until then, you guys, take care of yourselves, stay safe, always be aware of your surroundings. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye-bye for now.